In a town in eastern Siberia, a man bids farewell to his loved ones as Russian citizens flee to neighbouring countries to avoid Putin's draft.
People don't believe till the last second that something like that can happen, like start of the war, like right now.
In Russia, the search term "how to break arm" has trended on Google, and the cost of one-way flights out of Russia skyrocketed before selling out completely. On the streets of Moscow and St. Petersburg, hundreds have been arrested, Russians protesting the planned mobilisation of 300,000 reservists.
We should have been afraid before. The worst already happened.
Putin's move is designed to bolster Russia's dwindling forces. It's the first time since World War II that the nation has had to employ conscription.
The problem is that Russia was not planning on long-term occupation of its neighbors. The force was not designed for this.
After Ukraine's recent surprise gains in the northeast of the country, a bruised Putin, in need of a face-saving move, this week issued a thinly veiled threat of nuclear retaliation.
I want to remind you that our country also has various means of destruction, and we will certainly use all the means at our disposal. This is not a bluff.
In New York, world leaders, gathering for the first in-person UN General Assembly held since the pandemic hit back.
A nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought.
Putin's behavior only goes to show that his invasion is failing.
Even China weighed in, but declined to criticize Russia directly.
We call on all parties concerned to achieve ceasefire and end violence through dialogue and negotiations, and find a resolution that addresses all sides' legitimate security concerns as soon as possible.
In a recorded message, President Zelensky pushed the assembled nations to get tougher on his country's aggressor.
We must finally recognize Russia as the state of sponsor of terrorism at all levels.
You've recently seen the footage of Bushmasters liberating Kharkiv region, and President Zelensky thanked Prime Minister Albanese when he visited Ukraine in early July. Look, we need more because this is getting difficult.
In the coming days, 4 Russian-controlled territories in Ukraine's east will hold what Russia is calling referendums to determine whether to become part of Russia. Ukraine's allies uniformly calling them
a sham referendum.
Sham referendum.
Sham referendum.
Sham referendum.
It's imperative that every member of the United Nations reject these sham referenda and unequivocally declare that all Ukrainian territory is and will remain part of Ukraine.
So is Russia's promise of escalation a sign of things to come or just empty threats?
Well, just how seriously should we be taking this threat of escalation?
Yeah, no, I think it's really scary right now, certainly with Putin. The reports are that 70,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded. 70,000. That's mums and dads and families, and etc. And I guess the scare is that he is so dangerous that if you push the bear into a corner and poke him enough, then he's going to react. And what he does next.
Is it possible that Putin could go, like he could be eliminated?
He's not going to be kicked out, we don't think, with a revolution or by... He's not going to be voted out. He's a dictator. But and so he spent the last 20 years organising the police and the army and the Secret Service and so on to keep him in power. So he's not going to go.
It's a lot to watch out for
scary,
because it's scary. It's scary.